NCAA number 1 seed tracker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you who my picks are at this point. Now, we are still about 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday for the number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. These are some of the best teams in the league, and let's just start it off. So my number 1 seed overall, and it should not be a surprise to anybody, because unless you have been going through this college basketball season with blinders on, just watching your specific college team, you have to know who the best team in the land is right now, and it's not even close. I'm sorry, it's not close. And that is the Kentucky Wildcats. Those guys, we talked about it earlier. You can go ahead and click over. We had a story about how they have 9 McDonald's All-Americans on their squad. NBA teams don't even have that many All-Americans on their squad. And so it's crazy there. They are 29-0. They aren't playing in a great conference. The SEC, not really known for its basketball, more for its football. But, I mean, they're just playing spectacular. Calipari has those guys just humming. They do their whole platoon reserve, switch in and out thing, which is just still absurd to me. But it works. And I don't see anybody stopping those guys. So those are my number 1 seed overall. So that's one of the number 1 seeds. Let's move on to the next one. The next one I see pretty much as a lock is UVA, so University of Virginia. These guys have been playing really well. They're 27-1. Now, they did get a big loss losing Justin Anderson. Yeah, I believe his name is Justin Anderson. I know it's Anderson's last name, but yeah, Justin Anderson. This guy was on pace to be an All-American this year, so he's a big loss, but they've still been winning games without him. They've showed that their defense is one of the best in the country, and they do play in the ACC, and the ACC is one of the best college basketball conferences in the land, and it has been that way for years and years and years. With the North Carolina, the Duke, Maryland used to be there, and they're a traditional powerhouse in basketball, and UVA is just, they're holding their own with the big dogs, so they're my second number 1 seed. Now, moving on to my third number 1 seed, and hey, what was I just talking about? Oh, yeah, the ACC and their traditional powers. Duke has been playing spectacularly. They're 26-3. Coach Krzyzewski got his 1,000th win this year, so they're looking like they're firing on all cylinders as well. Now, the last 2 seeds, the Duke, I could see them getting bumped out. If they have a bad loss or they don't go far enough in the ACC tournament, wouldn't shock me for them to get bumped out. But it looks like they're really on pace to make a number 1 seed. I don't know how many number 1 seeds this would make for Krzyzewski. Probably like 13. All right, I just made that number up. But a lot. Duke always seems to be the number 1 seed or a number 2 seed.
75 million.
75 million. That is right. But
somewhat less than that.
Yes.
Upper limit, though. Upper limit's going to be 75 million.
75 million or less. That is a safe bet, I would imagine. I would imagine that's pretty safe. So, yeah, so Duke is my third number 1 seed. Now, my fourth number 1 seed, I kind of went by the rankings with the first 3. You have Kentucky number 1, UVA number 2, and Duke number 3 in both the coaches poll and the AP poll. So those are pretty safe. My third one, I kind of jumped around. I went with Arizona. I jumped them over Villanova, who is currently number 4, I believe, in both of the polls. And the reason I did that is because, number 1, the Big East is not the conference it used to be. They used to have like Pittsburgh and Notre Dame and all these great schools in basketball, and Big East used to be able to look at that and be like, okay, they're getting at least 6 teams in that conference. Not so much anymore. I mean, they're left with like Georgetown. And Georgetown, really good most years. They're making the tournament this year, but they're like a 6 seed this, So I couldn't rightfully put Villanova in there coming from a weak conference like that. And their strength of schedule, I want to say, is in the 30s or 40s. So it's not even – it's a good strength of schedule. Don't get me wrong. There's 300 Division I basketball teams. But it's not all that. I can't justify putting them in at number 1. Now, do I think they'll make a splash in the tournament? Certainly. They have very good guard play, and guard play is huge in the NCAA tournament. But the team I put above them is Arizona. And Arizona has really impressed me this year. They played excellent. Lute Wilson, he's one of the best coaches in college basketball right now. Arizona is one of the best programs in basketball right now. And they've had a couple wins against teams like Utah. The Pac-12, just in general, is a lot stronger. I mean, Utah and Oregon, I believe, are both ranked teams. Utah is a perennial top 10. They've slipped in and out of the top 10. Oregon's in the top 25, but it's just a better conference, and I think they've had a better outside of conference strength of schedule. So, I mean, don't kill me if I'm wrong on that. I mean, I have a job too. I got to work. I can't just sit around watching college.
No
basketball.
excuses, Brian. No excuses.
Okay, no excuses. But I will sit around watching college basketball when the tournament comes. And you know what? I'm just going to announce this now, even though I haven't talked to Brendan about it. Even if you're busy, Brendan and I can take care of it. But I'm going to do the Wednesday night before the tournament starts, a big bracket buster spectacular. Maybe the Tuesday night. Oh, actually, I'll be off all that week. Maybe the Monday afternoon, I'll do a bracket buster special where I'll break down my brackets. Yeah, and I'll just fill out it because it comes out on Sunday. Get it out on Monday. All right, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. But stay tuned for the bracket buster special. But the other team I might see slipping into that number 1 seed is Wisconsin, playing in the Big Ten. They have a really good record. They are 26-3 too, 26-3 as well, I should say. They've beaten a team like Maryland. Now, Maryland did beat them more recently, but, it's a home and home. They both won at their own home spot. Big Ten, it seems to be a stronger conference than any of these other conferences. So, just in basketball this year. They're not traditionally, but they are this year. So, those are my number 1 seeds. So, you have Kentucky being the number 1 overall seed. You have UVA being another number 1 seed. You have Duke being the 3rd number 1 seed. And Arizona rounding out my top 4 right there. So let me know what you think. What are your number 1 seeds for the NCAA tournament? Hit us up, comments down below. Of course, at Worst My Face on Twitter. Google Plus, Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us.